Hey y'all, it's Renegayde. Let's spill some reality on Canada's Drag Race Season 6. Don't be sorry about it, and make sure you like and subscribe for more, as you're not going to want to miss a single drop of content for this messy-ass season. On this episode, it is finally time to crown our Queen of Season 6. After a season of twists, turns, potions, and more, our top 4 face the gauntlet of challenges, which will narrow them down until only one of them is left. But before we talk about our final queen left standing, let me introduce my co-host, and he's playing the villain just like you want. It's QuackrrJack.
Hello. Bonjour for the Quebecians. I don't know, is that right?
I
I don't know.
mean, close enough.
I've never been good at language, so
I mean,
yeah.
same. And I feel like for me, watching all this international drag race is not only just keeping me cultured, but it's helping me identify phrases, words, things in all these other languages that I haven't known before. So I appreciate that. And we're learning even from Canada. And what we've learned kind of from Canada is that you can actually play the villain and come out on top. But, before we get into discussing our newest Drag Race superstar, our first of the year of 2026, let's go ahead and talk about just the format in general here, because Canada's Drag Race, since they have implemented the Beaver twist, they have definitely had kind of at least a standard finale format since then, and that is you get a meet and greet with the last reigning queen that you got on from your season here. Then they have a photo shoot together with questionable results. And then they go ahead and they do their whole writing and recording of an original track, generally coached by some sort of singer-songwriter that is familiar in the musical sphere. I feel like we had Nelly Furtado the first time this happened. Forget who we had last season. Maybe Nelly Furtado was last season, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's not important, because this season we got Rufus Wainwright, and they were also choreographed by Hollywood Jade, which, again, shout out Traders Canada Season 3. If you have not watched, please go watch, because Hollywood Jade, as well as Kitten Caboodle, are on that. And Traders is really hitting out of the park with their, seasons of all this multicultural reality TV inclusion that they're doing. So make sure check out Traders Season 3 of Canada. But anyways, going back. Jack, do you like how they do these finale formats? Because again, it has been a trend over the last 3 seasons now. I can't remember off the top of my head what they did for season 3, even though I literally just rewatched season 3. I literally can't remember what happened in that finale. So, do you like what they've been doing, at least for the last couple, since they've introduced this Golden Beaver format?
As far as the Golden Beaver format, I love it. As far as the finale format in Drag Race, I always have my own issues with it because I think it's kind of stupid to leave it up to a singular lip sync, because at that point the worst girl could technically win, right? But I mean, the two best are supposed to get there. But if we have a situation like Canada One, where we have 3 girls lip syncing for the crown, it's interesting because you can have someone who maybe isn't a fan like Queen, or someone who hasn't done well in competition, win just because they're in the final 3. So with the final 2, it helps to sway that, but it also feels like it discredits queens who aren't only performance based.
I
So
think I was maybe referring more towards the Final Four format in general, with this whole the fact that they have this songwriting challenge where all 4 of them get pretty much the same track, and we're kind of forced to listen to the same song over and over and over again, with differing outcomes. Do you enjoy that kind of format for a finale, or do you kind of feel like it should be a situation where U.S. Drag Race has definitely had finales where they do get original tracks, right? At the top of my head, season 15, very much so, a very easy one to kind of put off the top of my head, because it's they all had original tracks, but they were all different. if we want to say like a top three things, season seven, season eight were kind of like the first time we ever had a shift where the finals they actually kind of had to actually do something, at a live finale. So there is kind of, I would say, a standard for this possibly happening, but this particular format where they have them all doing the same song over and over and over again, I'm kind of drained out by this. And as a franchise that is always doing like new and interesting things, I was kind of expecting a little bit more from this finale challenge. I won't lie, because like season six has been hitting it out of the park on all cylinders. There's been a questionable decision here or there, but ultimately, I do feel like we're ending in the finale with at least 75% of the correct queens that should be there. So there's very little for me to complain about, and I'm like, I really don't want to be that girl that's going into this and being like really like having a hard time with it. But I'm like, I'm also just, I mean, it's a review show, it's my opinion. That's what the whole idea of the podcast is, right? So like I have to be honest, and I was like, I was very much so just, I mean, at this point, because of how they do this finale, it just felt like we were just waiting for them to get through the final two lip syncs, or sorry, get through all of the critiques, just so we get down to the top two that we knew what was going to happen at this point. So I just felt like the finale didn't have any sort of stakes or anything. So it was like, why
Well,
did we even have a final four challenge? So that's my question: is do you like how they set up the entirety of the finale, or do you kind of are like me and are kind of at a point where you're kind of hoping for them to switch that up in a little bit?
so I kind of like how they do this song thing because it's an equal playing field that every girl gets the chance to do their own thing, and it feels like it's more fair this way than like giving them like one singular uh like idea, and that they kind of are just going to be forced into doing whatever we get the critiques for at the we all know the final episode. All the critiques are just going to be positive things that they have to say about them. There's going to be some bullshit that we're all like, all right, skip it through, skip it through, skip it through. Like, yes, there are moments for the girls to like be vulnerable and talk about it on stage, and that's great. But like, everyone knows that the finale part is going to be us waiting through the critiques of the judges being like, well, they're really good, and I think they're really good, and they were great, and man, they did not make this easy to pick. And it's like, girl, yes, they did. We knew who's going to be in the top two. Come on, like it's these two girls that should probably be in the top two. We have a couple seasons where it's like a gag, but I feel like it's a very no matter how we do it, it's going to be a very predictable outcome. So I don't really mind the everyone does their own track. I just kind of I care more about the other content in the episode to me.
I mean, I will be very fair. There are certain individuals, PM, that I just tuned out
Oh
of
my
while they were
god.
performing here. Because, like I said, at this point, it felt like it was basically just a top three at this moment between Ebony LaBelle,
Why would you
Senior
say
Andre,
that?
and Van Goth. And let's talk about some finale drama because I feel like it's very rare that we get any sort of like drama on the final day while they're there in this workroom. But thankfully, the girls of season six are here to change that. And they are giving this whole moment where I feel like it is just fueled. And I can't tell if this is like staged. I don't think it's staged, but it feels like it's very like somebody in the conventional room where the production ad was like, someone needs to ask everybody and be like, who is your biggest competition here? Even Van maybe was like, no, girl, I know we'll stir this pot here. Let's go and just ask everybody who they think is their biggest competition at this moment. I forget how it all went down, even though we just watched it a couple seconds ago. But like that ultimately doesn't matter. What really matters is their responses. And like instead of Van Gogh, who has been the first girl, as she said herself, to win four challenges in the history of Canada's Drag Race, to never land in the bottom two, for not one of them to say her name as the biggest competitor going into this finale, to me, was crazy. And I really want to give Ebony the benefit of the doubt because, Scissor Sisters. I was here for both of them heading into this finale. I was willing to let whatever happens in this finale kind of decide my personal opinion of which of the two I'm going to officially be rooting for in this finale, right? Go down. And for her to kind of play the whole situation off and for her to say Sammy is her biggest competitor, well, I'm like, damn well, Sammy only won one challenge. She was in the bottom two last week. She was in the bottom two the first week this whole thing went down. And I'm like, are you really not going to give Van some flowers? Because I'm like, Van gave you her flowers. So I was a little kind of put off by that going into this. I felt like the whole outcome of whatever was going down with this drama was going to kind of determine who was going to be the winner of the season. Because, like, whoever they were going to frame in the better light between the two was going to be that girl that I felt like was going to be the one step on top. And I thought they did a very great job of including the additional conversation they had later where they kind of confront each other about it. And Ebony kind of has a moment where she does act like have like a moment to God, I guess, per se, as the saying goes. And like, it's like, yes, Van, you are great competition. I see you, and I am sorry if you feel like I devalued you. And that is like a very clear running storyline that Van has had throughout this whole season, where because she's doing so well, people feel like she doesn't have feelings. So I feel like that was very well set up to kind of go into this situation. And I was really seeing Van's point of view much more so than I saw Ebony's. And that might be a little shady because I love both of them, but it's the truth. And Jack, were you ultimately taking a side here? Because I felt like this is what this drama was kind of like building up towards was uh, like we knew the Scissor Sisters were doing amazing. Like, there's no way we could really say anybody else was in the running for this crown. Do you feel like this drama, from my point of view, that's just the way I feel it. But do you think this drama was setting up who could possibly win at the end between the two?
I don't know if I would say setting up who would win between the two, but it definitely like emphasized how these were our two front runners. But I think for me, this drama specifically is just validating everything Van Gogh has been saying because even the first week when she won, let's not act like there weren't girls who were immediately discrediting her and be like, "Well, did you deserve to win though? I mean, you lost the lip sync to Brooklyn, blah blah blah." Like there were girls saying those things and stuff, and
When
I
there
get it.
wasn't even a lip sync winner. Sorry.
Yes, yes, correct, correct. But but the girls were like, the girls weren't exactly entertained by the fact that Van Gogh won the first challenge. And when Van Gogh wins the design challenge, it's kind of just like well, look at everyone else she was up against, so it doesn't really count kind of thing. It's like, and then at the end here, she's won. They make it a point to be like, well, you might have won 4 challenges, but 3 of them were designed, so does that really even count? And it's like, as a person who like understands what it's like to be feeling like discredited and stuff, like this was just a parallel to something she said, being the she's tired, like it's her time to be the bride and not the bridesmaid or whatever. I was like, that's something that I've like, I think we've all dealt with before, and I think it was very well shown that because all 3 of the girls, not a single one of them said her name. Really? Are we really going to be like this just to it feels like it's set up just to be bitchy to her. And when she acknowledged it, like during the who should be saved out of like Velma, her, Maya, and PM kind of thing, it feels like it's just a flashback to that moment where the girls are like, okay, yeah, like the other girls have technically been saved and stuff, and like, yeah, you talked about like track record was like the most important, but now I feel differently because it's not me in the situation. It feels very much like that. It feels very much discrediting. It feels like they don't actually look at her as that competition, or even if it's just them saying that they think she's so strong, so they don't need to like give her flowers or anything. It's just disrespectful, is how it comes across, whether they
Especially
mean
when
it
she
that way or
has
not.
the Especially when she has the best track record out of everybody here. Like, there's no way you could say she's been doing terrible at all. She had a
Yeah,
low moment in the lip sync SmackDown, but it's like, which of
she was
y'all
also,
at
of course,
that
the
point
winner of the
have
lip sync
not
SmackDown.
right? It's like, which of y'all had not had a low moment up to that point? Like literally, all of y'all had, and some of y'all thought y'all had the low moments, and then you want to challenge. So Tina, that's not meant to be shady. I'm just being honest with opinions and
Well,
situations. So,
just for me in this situation, like I don't think that this like necessarily says everything, but I do like that it was emphasized so much about like how this is feelings. Feelings are allowed to be like how they are, and like she felt a way about it because the girls, whether or not they knew that they were doing it, I think they did. But like, and I think even if they weren't fully aware, there was a subconscious part of them knowing that like they straight up were doing this to like not give her the credit she deserved. It just feels like it's another thing that she has to work through. You know, everyone else in the room was like, "Oh well, I'm like a great performer, and I bet you can't beat me in a lip sync," kind of thing. And so, like, does that devalue everything she's ever done on the runway? Like, not to be rude, but out of everyone on the runway, she's the only one that's consistently giving out of the top four.
hmm
On the runway,
agreed.
she's the only one who is constantly like giving us look after look after look after look. So should I be able to discredit exactly everyone else for either not doing well enough on the runway, for being too basic on the runway, for looking unpolished on the runway, like for doing the horns 7 times on the runway, kind of thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a million things we clock for it, but why is that? I guess that's why this whole component of the performance is based on everything kind of thing at the end of the day is so flawed with Drag Race. Like, you can't really have a lip sync only as the win because it makes no sense. Um,
hmm
and so that's like
No,
just a flaw with
I
like the
feel like
format of Drag
I
Race.
wouldn't say it's a flaw per se, because I do
Oh,
think
I
at the
would.
end of the day, the top two should be the two people that are the best throughout the entire show. I feel like when it comes down to them saying the lip sync is like for the crown, like let's be real. We all know it is not coming down to this lip sync for the crown. This lip sync is performative. This lip sync is just for, you know, like I don't know if it even mattered ever since like season three. Because that was the last time I felt like they did the lip sync when it was like live for just the judges and not like everybody else. So I'm like, ever since that point, it felt like it was just kind of one of those things that they just kind of do to coronate the season, but not. I mean, because let's be real, if the lip sync for the crown really mattered, Kennedy Davenport would have won All Stars 3. So let's not begin to say that like it matters, because it doesn't. It has always been just like a coronation and a culmination of the entire season, and I do think this season may have played slightly into it, but I still feel like in some ways like we kind of know when we're getting to the top two what's gonna happen. That's why in my head, like the competition stops at like a top three, and then at that point, like yeah, we could have like one final moment for y'all to wow us, but like you're going into that final lip sync like expecting who you're expecting to win. Um, but you know what? We've been talking enough about this whole drama, Jack. Let us go to this runway, because you know what? You know what it is? It's the final time we're going to be able to talk about any drag from Canada's Drag Race. And I'm really sad because even though season 7 is going to be coming in like November, like season 6, season 6 feels like it was one of those experiences that you're going to kind of always remember. So, like, I feel very happy to have podcasted this season. And I'm very excited to have our final walk on the runway here with our Coronation Eleganza, which we expected, obviously, at this point. But uh, I have two clear standouts for me. But, Jack, who stood out for you and who stood out for the wrong reasons? For the last time on Canada's Drag Race Season 6.
Well, I love that they include the girls who have already gone home in this. Like, they come back for it. They get to see the girls from the top four, and we get to see everyone's final coronation look. Right? I think that's really fun. And so, starting in us off, I think Paolo stood out for the wrong reasons, and I was like, first out, yeah. The look wasn't very good to me. I was like, the look is fine. It's not coronation. And maybe she didn't want to do coronation because she's the first out. Whatever. She want to save it for something else. Sure, fine. I don't have a problem with a girl who didn't go far enough or whatever in a season and doesn't feel like that. But it was very meh to me. I was like, it's kind of nice, but it's nothing special. And then I feel like immediately after that, we got Star, who showed us like this beautiful white and gold outfit, which was nice. I just wish her makeup was maybe not so bright on the highlighter, but it was just beautiful. We had a good standout of another like standout was kind of like Hazel. It felt like the dress was a little lazy. I was like, this isn't great. Like this is nice. The hair is beautiful, but overall, I'm just whelmed by the dress. I'm not like, oh, Coronation. So that was kind of a letdown. But I think who really the people who really stuck out like as his next two were like Maya looked amazing. She looked incredible. It was like if you're gonna have this huge thing in the back, have the legs showing in the front and the chest out, perfectly beautiful, contoured on the breast, kind of thing. Like she looked stunning. The hair was great. It wasn't getting in the way of her huge collar in the back. There was stones everywhere. I loved it. And then we had, I think, one of the greatest moments on the runway of all time here in Canada. Saltina came out, and this is a motherfucking Coronation look. This is my fucking drag, and this is like my best of my best. The wings, the stoning, the pulling out the arrow from the heart, bleeding kind of thing. Like, there was just so much in here. I can't even begin to describe everything. And the beating, not the beating, I'm sorry, the stoning everywhere, and well, there was beating, I think. But, like, the point being, it was just beautifully done. There were so many details everywhere. Everything was so beautiful. Her makeup was great. I mean, how do you look away from that? The headpiece, oh.
I remember
So,
somebody in the comments one time was in one of our collective videos that we did on one of our videos. I don't remember what it was. But someone in the comments was like, just because the drag is grand and like big and opulent and like haute couture, I guess that was kind of what they're trying to get at, right? Or in some ways, they're like, that doesn't mean it's better. And I'm like, girl, like Saltina Shaker showed with this outfit, no, bigger is always better. And I feel like with this,
mhm.
she should have at least been in top four. Like I would have loved for a couple more episodes of Delusion from this bitch. Like,
I mean,
like
okay,
we were robbed of at least two episodes of looks from her. But I also
I
think we were a
agree.
little robbed of looks from Maya Fox because I agree with you. She was so good on this runway, and I'm like, she was the winner of Snatch Game, and I'm like, how did we not give this woman more time on the show? I'm so mad by these two. But get to the best of the best here because there's one look that
I
I think
will get
easily
the
stood out
best of the
above the
best.
rest.
Now, this is where I've left for the worst look of the night and the best look of the night for last. And I felt that it was very important to line these up next to each other because the two people had a rivalry. If you remember early on in the season, Dulce had a fight with Van Gogh. And Van Gogh said, I don't think Dulce's on my level. Well, tonight once again proved it again. If you didn't already believe it, if you didn't already see it in the terrible runway she's been having all season, if you didn't see it in her terrible lip sync for her life that she said she was talented in and we saw nothing and gave us nothing, tonight for her coronation look, she wore a very basic kind of stretch pageant dress with an updo, and you could see the lace really far away. The lace
Wait,
was
so
painted for the
I'm
bathroom.
confused, Jack. Dulce isn't the best of the night? Because I thought that's what we were talking to. I thought we were on the same page.
No, I just told you. Dulce is the worst of the night. She is getting that award for worst of the season, the layup that everyone knew was going to be there, had no chance of the season, kind of thing. Like, and this is why I think runways matter so much, and why we need to put more emphasis on them because it was really awful to see this. I was like, I never want to hear anyone tell me that I was mean or that I was like fucked up for saying these things. Like, unfortunately, this was not good. Like, this was not good, and it needs to be said. And personally, I just it this is like something that upsets me. It's very lazy for Drag Race, in my opinion, and you know, I just kind of wanted to look away the whole time. But let's get away from that trash. So, anyways, the best thing on the runway by far was Van Gogh, and Van Gogh comes out in this beautiful a large black gown with some beautiful beating and stoning, um, creating this kind of river almost up her body of this blues and yellows and whites, and you're like, oh, there's something about this. It's like this one streak that just shows through. No, 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 it's not a streak that shows through. It's literally it's her actual outfit. She takes off the beautiful black over like outfit and reveals this gown completely beat it down in the Van Gogh most well known like Starry Night painting all over her dress, and we're gagged because A, you can barely see it because the lights are bouncing off everywhere. It's beautiful. Somehow it's nighttime because she brought Starry Night in here on the runway, yet we've got a million lights on us, and we're like, what is going on? This is beauty, this is grace, this is everything. Matches her makeup. It's just so beautiful. You've never seen something so grand, I'd say, as like such a great reveal. And everyone's like jaw drops, speechless. This is so good because she took everything that was her drag and transformed it into one of the best coronation outfits we've ever seen. She took the gothic aesthetic that starts with, and as she takes it off, you see the inspiration for her name, Van Gogh Van Gogh. And like, bitch, she told you she was a masterpiece on this runway. She told you that you could not handle it. This was a work of art. And she was right. She was a work of art on this runway.
It
It
was
was
giving me
art.
everything from All Stars 9's inspired by art runway, like which is I think will go down as one of the best runways in the history of Drag Race. Like this is what Vanjie should have been giving when she popped out there with that Starry Night bullshit that she popped out with. And I'm okay with saying that because I love Vanjie. Like, but I hate that look. I'm so mad at it. And I feel like it's such a full circle moment because what All Stars 9 was like the first season that we started doing, podcasting for. So for her to walk out in this and then literally to have people still commenting on that video today, being so mad that we put that video so low, and then for her to walk out in this, I'm just like, ugh, thank you for proving us correct, Van Gogh, that there is a correct way to do Starry Night, and this was the correct way to do it.
Now, that being said, the runway was beautiful and everything was amazing. Yet somehow, we still got more from the episode that I was not expecting after we got their songs and the runway. We got more drama.
We did get more drama, and I'm low key kind of gagged about that. And let's go ahead and we could kind of just jump into that drama because it's a little more interesting than what happened here in the challenge, as I was kind of personally saying. Because we get the mini reunions they like to do in Untucked, which I feel like this is a reason why we really need to go back to like the season like 1, 2 format that they had. Or I would say season 2 specifically for how they did the show because they only give us 9 episodes of Canada's Drag Race. It's not enough. We need at least a 10th episode for them to at least do a top 3 and maybe have a reunion, something along those lines. Because like this reunion would have been popping off with the way that these girls were playing strategically. And I think they had some great moments here, like when we had Star Doll confront Van for the strategic move that she had made way back in the day, literally episode 3, when she didn't save Stardoll with the Beaver, when she made the alliance with her, with the top 3 alliance with Hazel, and her and Stardoll and Hazel were literally the next 2 to leave, and then Goth went on to win. So I'm like, "Ooh, well, maybe that alliance was like a great stepping stone for Van Goth." But I kind of want to start here when we're talking about drama because like let's be real. Did Van Gogh really eliminate Stardoll like she's saying? Because I'm like, girl, you had the chance to lip sync. Maybe you didn't lip sync against the best person. And to be honest, Stardoll shouldn't even been in the bottom to begin with. Let's be real, it should have been Dulce. I think that is the real issue is that she should have taken that up with Brooklyn versus Van Gogh. But what were your thoughts on this initial hair drama and how it went down? And do you think Van handled it correctly? Because I think she did.
I think Van handled it very well. Look, Star is allowed to have her own feelings about the situation. Your feelings are valid, kind of thing about how you felt in the moment or whatever. Van Gogh was given the opportunity by the judges, by the power of the Golden Beaver, right, to make this decision. But let's not also act like there wasn't strategy involved. The whole time she was considering what to do, and when someone else made a decision first, she was like, "Well, I'm not doing that bullshit now." So she kind of made the decision based upon another person's also their kind of decision that they made. And I feel like Star unfortunately did lose this lip sync, and that eliminated her. I think that Star is a great performer and a great queen, but like, do I think she was like this huge competition thing that everyone was talking about? That's up to everyone else to make that decision, not for me. But I think she was valid to feel these ways. I think Van Gogh handled it well. She told her like, at the end of the day, it was like my choice. So like, I didn't crush your dream because I didn't send you home. I just made you lip sync, and that's true. She didn't send her home.
Mhm.
She made her lip sync.
Very correct. The other thing, though, that was kind of wild to me, and we were talking about it, I literally made you pause the episode while this was going on. And I'm still just so blown away by this whole thing because we saw the narrative that they showed us, right? Like, I'm not imagining things when it felt like this whole Hazel versus PM friendship, which I'm going to put in quotes, it felt like it was a little one sided because it felt like one girl was really being friends and one girl was taking things in whatever happened in the competition so personally and was using everything she could against her friend, quote unquote. And so like I am gagged here when this whole like situation goes down where Hazel literally speaks up and is like, "Girl, I don't even think I should have been in the bottom two against PM. I should have been the bottom two against Dulce," which probably correct. But I'm shocked though that again Hazel is speaking up to defend PM because the first moment PM had to turn against Hazel, looking back at like what was it, the reading challenge, she did it. She literally gave all of Hazel's dirty secrets to Caramel so she could read her out on the stage, and I'm just like, this is insane. So if we're gonna be talking about loyalty, right, look how loyal Hazel was to PM, literally getting into a fight with Dulce defending PM. This was so wild to me, so wild. And it just made me dislike PM even more. I won't even lie. Because I'm just like, you went out of your way to hate on Hazel the entirety of her being there. And she did nothing to really hurt you. But you took immediate defense to everything or every little thing that she didn't do to help you get through the competition when you should be self sufficient and getting through it on your own. And then we're going to get to the finale and she's still defending your ass. You don't, I'll be honest, you do not deserve a friend that is that loyal. I'm sorry. That pissed me off. I'm still really pissed off about it because I'm just like, that is because that goes outside of the edit, right? This is a pre-existing relationship that they had coming into this, and PM did everything she could to walk all over her friend, and she got to the final four, and for what? For you to not even be considered into this finale to be in the top two? Okay, congratulations.
I mean, look, I said it from the beginning. I'll say it again. This is probably the last time I'll have to say it. PM was a fake and a phony. And I felt that way, and I still feel that way, and I just don't think that it really mattered how I feel about it per se. Like, this is what happened. We all saw what happened. We can all get our own conclusions from this, but not necessarily a friend of mine. Let's say I would be with this girl, but you know, to each their own, I guess. I just don't. I didn't like the way PM went about this whole season. Personally, I don't like how she was bitter towards people, but then it wasn't fair when it went the other way. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of it, and in fact, I actually was more here for the Hazel versus Dulce drama of it all because I was like screaming that like Dulce had the audacity to say that she was better than Hazel just because she was saved by the judges, mind you, that should have put her up for elimination how many times now? Before she actually went home, and I was like, they didn't care that you had terrible runways the whole time that would have put you down. They didn't care that you literally lost challenges, and they still didn't put you in the bottom when you lost challenges, like the makeover challenge where it should have, or not the makeover, I'm sorry, the design challenge where it should have been her versus, uh, sorry, it should have been, instead of Star, it should have been her and PM in the bottom, and it should have been like her in the bottom instead of PM, aka instead of Star. So I'm like, I don't know how you're talking about it. And then when she finally did end up at the bottom, Dulce literally gave us next to nothing. Like she gave us nothing. She gave us, I'm tired. Let me twirl in 3 seconds. Okay, now I'm tired again. Let me put my leg out. Like I was like kind of secondhand embarrassed for her. And when Hazel read her down and let her know straight up that she was not going to get bookings outside the show, I was like, let it be known, girl. I'm not paying for that. I wouldn't
What
be
gagged
paying
me
for that.
most out of all of that, especially after all that, Hazel got crowned Miss Congeniality, and I'm just like, oh, well,
Oh, that was the
maybe
gaggiest
everybody
thing.
just agrees with her that Dulce is getting no booking.
Did they vote before or after? I need to know. Someone please break the NDA. Tell me if it's not breaking the NDA. Please tell me if it is breaking the NDA. Please give me a timer as to when the NDA is over so I can ask that question. I need it now. I need to know. Like I will be putting it on my calendar. I'll be marking the seconds of the day, like when I can get this information from you. Please, 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 please. I need to know
Well, if
how
there's
this
any way
happened.
to get it, I will be very honest. I'm just gonna put it out there right now because I know she could be listening here, Miss Van Gogh. If you would love to do a season recap with us here, I would love to do it. Perhaps I'll slide in your DMs and we'll talk. But like we all know we would love to talk about and spill some tea with you, girl. So like won't even lie about that. But when it comes down to it here, ultimately, I wouldn't say that their performances had any sort of play into this whole finale,
No,
and that's
not
why I
really.
feel like we need like a new format because it just feels
Mm.
like if it's going to be a foregone conclusion that the final two are the top two, right? Then why even make them go through all this crap? Let's just literally have a reunion like they did like the start of season two, and then instead of having lip sync SmackDown, then just pull the top four girls down and knock out two of them, make the last two lip sync for the season, and then crown your winner. I feel like that would be a so much more satisfying ending than what we've kind of been getting with these song challenges because I ain't going back to none of these lip sync or none of
Oh
these
well.
challenges to be like, oh, these songs that these girls are putting out are amazing. Like, there's a few of them that were all right, but in the sheer like zeitgeist of Drag Race performances, these are kind of low budget. Like we literally have it's the queen. They have a backup, two backup dancers, right? They don't even get like a set. There's no differentiating music or any cues in the songs that make them feel like they're their own, even though that's the point. Like they're supposed to be using the same tracks. It was just, it was
I
whatever. Like I don't
mean,
even know if I even care to
I'll.
talk about it. If you want to talk about it, Jack, you can. Because
I
like
the only thing I'm gonna
it
say
felt
is
like
that
there was
I
nothing
think.
from the performances. There was nothing from the performances that made me feel like that's what they made their judgment on the top two. It just felt like going into it, like as long as you did like a good performance and you were
Mhm.
already like up there, you were gonna move on. That was my
I
opinion.
I I kind of feel that way too, but I also do think Van Goss was my favorite of them. So like, if we're going off of getting to the end, I think she got to the end either way. So I will give her that because I was like, oh yes, this villain song, this is it. I want to hear it. Like I was here for her being like, I'm lethal. I was like, yes, yes, yes. I was living for being a villain
I'm
because
gonna
I
defend
am
you
so
though for
tired.
her.
What?
I'm sorry. It took us turning on the closed captions to figure out that's what she said.
No, it wasn't. I told you it was lethal the whole time.
That I couldn't even understand what you were telling me when it was there. I was like,
You were
please
like,
just put on these
what do you
closed
mean? I
captions
was
so
like,
I can
I was
understand.
like, I can stitch, I can sew,
Well, that
I'm
part was
so
very understandable,
lethal.
but
And then
the
you were
the
like, it's
middle
not
part,
lethal. And I was like, bitch, yes, it
I
is.
heard her saying rightfully so. And I was like, okay, like I was kind of cute. That I was like, oh, that's cute. You're right. I mean, like, so is so, because it's like it's technically two different words. So I was like, okay, cute. And but I was like, okay, I need to like know what she's actually saying because there was something about her chorus that was coming off like a little corny with just the way that it was just structured and
I
like
was
the
living.
words were used. But now that I know the actual words that I'm hearing, which again, that's on me because I'm very bad at understanding most lyrics. So to be very honest, yeah, I enjoy it much more, and I will take back my corny remark. But I did have to say I was slightly worried, slightly, just based off of like the performance order because Van went second, right? So I'm like, are they setting Van up to possibly like not go through, especially with this whole like Ebony storyline where she's saying that her biggest competition is Sammy. Are we about to get played in our faces? Is Van not going to make this top two? Because I thought she did well in this
Girl, I
performance.
would have thrown out the whole season. I would have thrown out the whole season if we didn't get the final two we got.
Same. I would have literally stopped watching Canada's Drag Race because I would have felt so betrayed too. Because I've done nothing but say on these podcasts, I'm like Canada is like there's other internationals outside of the U.S. and I'm like Canada's like my go-to. Canada is that girl for me, and I was like, if Canada does me like this right now, girl, after I was to say I will forgive you dragging somebody to the top four that I don't think deserves to be there. It's okay. The people you eliminated, yeah, they probably could have come out in a different order, but I think the top two is correct. So I was like, as long as you give me the correct top two, I will forgive that travesty of realizing I'm gonna have to rewatch the season and be dealt with that individual again. But thankfully, they're eliminated, as well as, sadly, Sammy Laundry, who ends up in third place. We're not going to say tied.
Yeah.
She gets third place. Um, and I do think
Shady
a lot of
Bear.
Sammy's trajectory really did kind of happen based off of last week's episode. And I think you were right when you were saying that there was a little bit of like nonchalant energy she was kind of giving, right? Where she was just happy to be there. There was a little bit of lack of fire in her, and I feel like she did want it in her own way, right? And that's what I could really appreciate about Sammy is that like she had a huge glow up from like the first two episodes to like even episode three and beyond. And I'm so excited for the trajectory that we could possibly see Sammy on another season because I think she's now that she's possibly in like that more competitive mode. Could you imagine what this girl could do? Like she gives me like I don't want to just like compare random people, but like there's a strategic mind about her and like an originality about her that she really reminds me of like Alaska when she kind of first came out. And there
Mm.
was, yeah, she's not your favorite reference, but like there is like an irreverence to her drag, there's an originality behind it and a point of view that it kind of airs on, you know, one spectrum of it that we don't really see because there's a lot of general perspective put on just like being pretty girl, right? So whenever someone kind of does something outside of that, it is always intriguing. But I like the fact that Sammy is willing to play the game, you know, and include the, you know, she just has the ability to do glamour drag. We saw her in the My Chemical Reaction look like she looked beautiful, and I'm just like I can't wait for Sammy to officially like get it all together. I think she's like about like 89% of the way there. I think that there's some growing that she's going to be able to learn from herself from this season, and I do think she's going to come out of this as a full package that wherever if she ever decides to compete again, I can honestly see Sammy possibly taking that crown. Like she is that kind of girl with that kind of perspective to me. So I want to make sure Sammy gets her flowers because I so enjoyed her on this season. And I don't know if she would necessarily be something that I would traditionally root for, but like she's just she has that personality. You gravitate to that charisma. So I'm like, Sammy, I can't wait to see you again. I really can't.
So for me, semi laundry is I I respect what you're saying. I just don't fully agree with everything you're saying. I think Sami is great, and I don't think it wasn't that she wasn't trying or anything, or that she didn't want it last week. It's just more so she was all about the fun of it, and it's that joy that her drag sparks that they kind of talked about this episode. But her drag actually sparks joy, I think, for me, and I assume for others based on the polls on Twitter I've seen and whatnot. But what really did it for me for her, I don't really see an Alaska so much in her. I see more originality. I just see like she has a full understanding of what her drag is, who her drag is, and she does that, and I really appreciate that from her. That being said, that having a perspective in drag is one of the most important things to me. So I think that's where she excels so much, is that she is funny, she is unique, she knows who she is, and those are kind of the most important, in my mind, important qualities to have on Drag Race. And so that's why I think she does so well, and how she made it so far. And I think she deserves all her flowers for that third place finish, because it was close. Had she won a challenge here or there, kind of thing, like she could have really been like possibly taking a top two placement. They could have decided to do a top three lip sync, right? But I think after last week, it was just kind of confirmed when she didn't get a challenge win and she had to do the lip sync. I think that was really what was like the nail in the coffin this week for like guaranteed top two.
Hmm. I would agree with that, but and the way I mean with Alaska is like I see her being like developing a strategic mind from her first season, because Alaska was all about like the experience. It felt like her first time, right? And then she came back, had a strategic mind, and took the competition more seriously, and she won. That's why I was kind of comparing to Alaska, because I feel like if she comes back again, she's gonna really like mean to compete. That's where I kind of see it.
I, I think that's fair to say. I don't see that for her. I don't really see the strategic thing. I think she's going to come back, be herself, be goofy and fun, and I think she's just going to excel just by doing those things. And I don't know how to explain that other than like I don't know if strategy will ever really be a big deal to her outside of just being cool with her friends like she kind of was this season. I'm not just it's just my perspective. Like I'm not really sure what I see for her in terms of strategy, I guess.
I mean, fair. She just gives me the kind of girl that feels like she kind of learns from her mistakes, right? She doesn't seem stupid. It feels like if she comes back again, it feels like she's gonna kind of know where she's gonna need to play up things, where she's gonna need to like dial a few things back. And I do kind of see a lot of just intelligence behind what Sammy's doing, and that's why I feel like I appreciate her perspective and why I think she'd be a huge force when she comes back again. But let's not put that on this girl, because literally the season just ended, and she was just eliminated. So let her enjoy her time right now and get her some bookings, and hopefully have some time to grow on the road. But like I don't think there was any question that our top two were going to be our sisters. Like if Ebony LaBelle and Van Gogh were not our top two, I think there would have been riots on the streets. I think the world economy would have collapsed. It's possible that like we would have gone back into lockdown again. I feel that strongly about that, and I feel like anybody else listening is probably feeling the same way. And if not, I have questions for you. But that can be dealt with later, because ultimately our top two are narrowed down to our scissor sisters, correctly so, and we get a final lip sync between Ebony LaBelle and Van Gogh, a rematch, if you will, from our lip sync SmackDown to Chapel Roan's super graphic ultra modern girl, and I did have to look that up because I'll be honest, again, I don't listen to Chapel Roan, so um and this, I will say, was much better than my last experience, I feel like, with Chaperone. Like, this would be the kind of song I would probably listen to again. Uh, will it go on my 2026 playlist for the year? No. But would I listen to it again? Yes. Especially if it's watching this lip sync, because I feel like Van Gogh and Ebony Bell really kind of gave their best effort in this. and it gave to me, and we were kind of talking throughout it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this felt like a song that Ebony learned for the lip sync today, and Van Gogh probably already knew heading into this lip sync because just the way that they both attacked the song, I was getting a lot of Ebony from the lip sync SmackDown, where it doesn't matter what song it was, she's going to give you a performance. Did it feel like it was a performance that she cared about? I wouldn't say necessarily no, because I felt like I saw a lot of like repeating moves. I saw a lot of things that I kind of expected to see from her here. Like it felt like she was more so trying to get through it than like enjoying it. Whereas like Van Goth felt like she was giving the song. And if it felt like anybody went into this already kind of having maybe performed it before or at least knowing the song prior, that's felt like it was an advantage to Van here. So I'm not gonna say like she deserves to win just because she knew the song going into it. She deserves to win because she embodied it, and I feel like she had the best performance that I would have expected from the song.
I mean, I personally agree. Uh, I think personally she did do the best in this lip sync performance. And it's no hate to Ebony. I don't think I agree completely with everything you're saying about. I think Ebony was having fun in doing the song. I just think it just wasn't her genre. And so I think she did. She showed us a lot of who she is in her performance, and I really enjoyed that so much. I just think that what you said was correct. Van Gogh really encapsulated what this song was. I felt like she was living the song. I felt like I was watching someone living the song, and I was excited for it.
Hmm. And
You
she
know,
definitely made me much more excited for the lip sync than Ebony did. And that's not to say again that Ebony did a bad job. Ebony has been
no, they both did a great
a
job.
amazing performer the entire season. And for it to come down to this, I do think it really actually kind of says a lot because in a lot of ways they were really talking up a lot of shit on Van, right? About all of her
Yes,
wins just being sewing. And it's like, did you forget that she won that first challenge? And the first challenge was like their music video per se, right? So like she had to write lyrics already. She knows what she's doing in that aspect. And it's like she may not necessarily give the 100% most fluid performance that I've ever seen in my entire life. But did she give a performance that shows that she knows what she's doing and that she's clearly,
performer. Yes,
what's the word I'm looking for?
she's a performer.
What is it when you meet like the comprehensive, the you
She's
have
competent.
skills?
She's a
Yeah, that's
competent
the word.
performer. Yeah, she knows
It's
what she's doing on a stage. She's
yeah, it's
not
very
maybe she's not like the best at every single genre, but she's not someone who like they counted her out so much as like she couldn't perform or something, and that clearly wasn't the truth. Like whether or not
right.
I know
She's
some people are going
clearly
to be
a very
split
competent
about
performer.
right, some people are going to be split about who they think won the lip sync, blah blah blah, whatever, sure. But at the end of the day, like our winner is Van Gogh, and I think she did an amazing job on the lip sync, and I think Ebony did a great job on the lip sync. Personally, I think Van Gogh took it from me. If you don't feel that way, that's okay. It's okay to have like a difference in opinion. You know, it's just we have different opinions. I guess
Right.
that's all
And
it
it's
comes
not
down
nothing
to.
to be like cause World War III over, y'all. Like it's drag
Although
race.
if Van Gogh had lost, I was ready to pull out the nuke codes. I was ready. Don't
I
worry.
mean, if it was a different song and we got a different result, I would have said something else. But again, we have to go based off of what they give them for what they are, what's happening here. So based off of what they gave them, this was their finale song. So I'm not gonna hate on it. There's other songs that maybe I feel like Ebony probably could have done a little bit better on, and I will be shady and probably lose a follower or two at this point. But I'm like, this is my second Chaperone song that I've ever been exposed to, right? I'm like, am I gonna go out and listen to her as a result of this? No, I will be very honest. And that probably sums up a lot to my age. But like, there's not a whole lot that I feel like. I've
Year
gained
old.
from my exposure to her and the songs that I've given that I'm like, oh, okay, like there's so much here that I'm like, woo, okay, right. But I am old. I won't lie. I'm about to turn 40 next year, so it is what it is. But you know what? I still guarantee you I look younger than a vast majority of you because I'm a millennial
Wow,
that
you do not
refused
need to
to grow
insult
up.
people like that. That's calm it down. Calm it
Girl, it's because I just literally talked to a 22-year-old yesterday and he was like, "Oh my god, I thought
down.
you were
Not
like
part of the
27."
podcast.
And oh no, this is staying in there because I don't care because I'm like, you know what? Y'all need to understand it. Maybe we need to just go to a face podcast because like maybe at some point like y'all will just come in just based off of that. I don't want to like I don't want to like intrigue the horny gays out there. But you know what? Who I do want to intrigue is our newest Queen of the North, Miss Van Gogh. Which again, congratulations! Officially, you are the sixth Queen of the North, and I would say you are literally on
Except if
par.
you count Brooklyn.
Uh, yeah, I mean, we do. I will be honest. I do count Brooklyn, but I mean, she didn't
Uh,
win a crown particularly.
I
She's
mean,
like Nikki Doll to me, where it's like
she
she
won in my
didn't do
mind.
anything in her initial season. Or okay, it's very different,
Oh,
obviously, between
that's it.
Nikki. Hey, hang on,
That's
hang on, hang on, hang on, hang on. It's very different between Nikki and
you're
Brooklyn. Obviously,
messy.
Brooklyn. No, it really comes down to that last lip sync. I do think Evie beat Brooklyn in that last lip
I
sync,
don't.
but
Girl, take that shit
I
outside.
still love Brooklyn. And it's like if there was ever like a mainline season that had a top two, I would have given it to that season because like I was pulling for Brooklyn, but Evie performed the house down. And y'all, if you say otherwise, I mean that's on you. I feel like that's just personal opinion on if you like Evie's drag or not,
And
and that's a completely different podcast. But you know what?
you get
Let's go
messy in
ahead
here.
and give it up to Miss Van Gogh here, Jack. We are almost at an
Congratulations,
hour
Van
here,
Gogh, the winner of
and
Drag Race Canada Season 6, the correct winner of Drag Race Canada. And I'm so happy and I'm so thrilled to get some representation also for queens who actually have spoken about their truths, for villains, for girls who maybe living in the queer community with HIV, especially, who don't really get a lot of representation or positive representation, I should say. So it's very not. I don't want to say humbling for us, but it's very exciting for me to see like another form of representation that we get as a winning queen.
I think it just goes to show, and from someone who slightly identifies as a villain, I think I'm slightly more a hero at heart. But
Oh,
I'm
take
versatile.
that shit outside.
I could go
I'm a,
hero, I could go
I'm a
villain.
villain.
It's
I'm
all
an
mix.
anti-hero at best,
But if
and
yeah,
most
and I
people are
can
a
go
villain.
anti-hero also. But and I'm
No,
always someone that I'm always here for the journey. I'm here for the person that deserves it. I'm here for the
I'm here for the
you
shade.
know, I'm not just here for the shade though. Shade can be fun, but at the end of the day though, I'm here for what is right, what is and if the person deserves to win, is the hero, is the villain, is the anti-hero, I don't care. I just want to make sure that the correct person wins at the end of the day. And for me, season 6 was a perfect journey to start 2026. And I don't know if that's what Canada's Drag Race had in mind when they were going into this season, but y'all, like, even if we get a Canada's versus the World season 3, which hasn't even been announced, and I pray that it happens this year, I just feel like Canada's Drag Race is on one at this moment. Like, this is their high. Like, allow them to be back in their high moment, right? To kind of feel like they're in control of the drag stratosphere because I feel like they deserve it after the season. And I am so excited for our newly crowned queen. I'm so excited to see what she does with her reign. And I am so excited for what 2026 could possibly have for Canada's Drag Race. So, with that all being said, we can't wait to see how this all turns out, y'all. And
Wait, you have to say something first.
okay, hang
Yeah,
on. Jack has something to
because
say
like,
first.
yeah, she said it from the beginning. I'm a surrealist. I am the realist, and we got the realist winner. And we should acknowledge that she told us that from the very beginning. 666, little devil with a lisp. And I just think that like we should acknowledge that she told us what she was going to do. She came out to do it, and she proved me wrong from the first outcome in it. And like I said throughout the whole season of doing this, that I was so excited that she proved me wrong because I love when a queen shows that like she's that bitch, and she said she was that bitch this episode, and she proved she was that bitch forever, and that should be
Oh,
like she says, like upper rate, and she's stamped. So like, did she lie once? No, there was not a goddamn lie told this season by her, except maybe to someone that she wasn't loyal to, but she said she wasn't going to from the beginning. So she didn't lie to us.
I mean, I've been on Van's side the entire season, so like, I'm glad you had that epiphany, but I felt it.
Bitch.
I felt the energy. There was something about because I don't want to go. I don't want to like extend things, but I do want to talk about this because since you brought it up here for one last final thought, because I will go back to this Meet the Queens, and I will really remember like talking to you about this and being like, you didn't see anything in Van. You didn't see anything in Ebony
It wasn't
because
that I
I'm
didn't see
like,
anything in Van.
Ebony gave me.
I
Oh,
thought she was like a fifth placer. I thought she was gonna get fifth place, get really close to the top four, and not make it there because they don't like to. This is the truth. They do not like to give people who have a villain edit a lot of credit. That is a fact. Or else we'd have more villain
but
winners. I'm just
what with
saying.
Ebony did you not see as well either? Because I literally went into it being like, Ebony is giving me like the story of a winner, and
I
Van
liked
is giving
Ebony.
me Van's giving me the strategy of a winner, and I was extremely strong on these two when we came into it. So I do feel some type of way because we did make our preseason predictions. I did not look at any spoilers, as I do not do until like maybe like halfway through the season for some of these.
A mess.
And but like in this particular season, I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I refuse to do it. And I was like, I feel like I felt so good with our top two, like Ebony and Van. If we do another um DragCon, I will be in line for both of their booths. Absolutely, Sammy, I will be in line for your booth as well too. But like the Scissor Sisters were the girls that I was going to this being like, I feel such a strong way about them. I didn't even know they were going to have this alliance between them. So I'm just like, I feel good, especially considering like there's some seasons looking at Survivor 47 where I predict the winner as being the first boot. So like when you predict the winner in some feelings you feel pretty good, but like in a lot of ways like you're just going off of feelings, you're just going off of like abstract whatever, whatnot. So it's like, is anybody gonna go into every single prediction like getting correct? Hell no.
I'm just saying
But
for your
I
question about
feel good.
Ebony.
I just feel good
I liked Ebony.
inside.
Again, it was just like one of those things. I had a feeling that it was either going to be like her or like Sammy or Velma. Like someone was getting the cut, and I felt like Van was getting a cut because of her telling us she was a villain. And I feel like with Ebony, it was just came down to the fact that I just resonated more with a few other people. And then it's interesting because when you do those Meet the Queens, not everyone is the same person as they are when they tell you they are. They're very different, and I saw a lot of different things this season that were not the same as the Meet the Queen. Some of the girls were a little different, let's just say, in their
Stop calling
portrayal.
out Athena Dion like that.
I did
How
not say
dare
Athena
you?
Dion.
How
I was
dare
talking
you?
about Velma mostly, but go off. Um, so I just different. There are different. So you get a different opinion than what you thought you were going to have.
And
But
that's
I'm
fair.
excited. I'm happy because this was the best outcome I think possible for the season, in my opinion. Um, and
Well,
I
all I
can't
will
think of
say,
more
Jack,
a better winner.
all I will say is that I hope that will teach you to possibly listen to me at sometimes, because,
I'm definitely not doing that.
I kind of
I'll
know what
listen
I'm
to you,
talking about
but
at some point,
agree with you.
okay?
I don't know about that. Uh,
Wow. Wow. Well, in this instance, you should have listened. And you
I
know
think in this
what?
instance, I was perfectly fine making an idea of who I thought was going to do well. And, I think it's just a luck thing on your side, and I love that for you. I love your lucky streak. I love that for you. I think, like, we'll see it next time, maybe. Who knows?
I
But this isn't
mean,
about
let's
us.
not
This is
talk
about
about
Van
US
Gogh.
18 because that season is just
This is Van
beyond
Gogh's time. Shut
expectable.
up. Celebrate Van
Yeah,
Gogh.
I'm sorry, you're right. Let's celebrate Van Gogh. She deserves it. Congratulations again, Van Gogh, our first queen of 2026. I would say one of the most deserved queens in Canada's Drag Race, and not just Canada's Drag Race history, but like the franchise's history of all Drag Race of all time. So, so excited for you, Van Gogh. And all I could say at this point is we can't wait to see how your reign turns out. And hopefully y'all can't either, especially if y'all lasted this long. And thank you all so much for listening. Make sure to like this video if you lasted this long because it helps everybody else get to see it too, and they need to see it. They need to know the greatness that is Van Gogh in this Canada's Drag Race season 6. So make sure to like it. Make sure to comment below on your thoughts of the season finale, your thoughts of the winner, whatever you want to comment below. Jack and I are listening, and one of us will comment on your comments. So make sure to comment below. And also, are you a little worried heading into season 7 of Canada's Drag Race? Because considering like we had like the epic season and like season 7 is like
No, I
proven to be
don't
like the
believe in
best
those
season ever. Is
curses. Kick
there a
your
season
genocide.
7 curse?
No, I don't. I don't
Let
know if
us
we'll get someone as
know.
good as Van Gogh as a winner, but everyone has control of their own ability to make a good ass season, a good ass drag queen. So
Until next time, and on behalf of my co-caster QuackrrJack, you won't shut up. This is
yeah,
Renegade signing out. Remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
bye.